dream analyzing.
No, you're not.
I dreamt I was flying.
All dreams mean the same
Socks.
thing. It's the Jews trying to control your mind. That's what every dream is. Every dream is that.
But I'm tired because it was exhausting. It was just exhausting.
Yeah. Nightmares are exciting. They're fun. I love having nightmares. The scarier, the better. You wake up, you're like, holy fuck. But it's like you were in some cool movie. And then you're up and everything's fine. You had, and I've talked about this before, you have like the hugest life-threatening fucking problems.
Right.
And in a second, they're gone when you wake up. It's like, that's fixed.
That is the
Thank
greatest.
God, because I was up for murder
Yeah.
of somebody. And now I'm
the one
fine.
I have all the time is being in an airplane and we're flying like through a city, like I'm like, there's no way we're not hitting those buildings.
I've had the one.
And the pilot's like apologizing. I know we're a little low. Please bear with me. But the thing about that dream every time is that I tell myself, this time this is not a dream. I always dream this.
Yeah.
But this is real. And I'm just sure it's real.
I have that one all the time. We go to take off. It's always on takeoff. And there's trees and a field. And I'm like, oh, my God, I could hear we don't have enough power.
Yep.
We're not off the ground. And we're going into the trees. Always. Right. And the plane never fucking takes off right.
No.
and I'm the same way. I go, I know this is a dream. But every time it happens, like, holy shit, why the fuck?
That's your mind telling you. It's a symbolic of being afraid that your plane is going to hit something.
But that's abstract. You really go deep.
Anthony's onto something, though. When you wake up from a horrific dream where you think you're going to prison for life, I don't know, whatever it is, and you wake up and realize it was just a dream, it is the greatest feeling ever.
That's the biggest one I have all the time is I'm just hanging out, and then it hits me, and my memory goes, wait a minute, I fucking helped people kill somebody.
Well, that's what, I always have a dream that I murdered people.
Yeah.
And that
they're buried somewhere.
Like someone, I'm in a room and they're knocking on the door to make me pay for my murders.
Really?
And I'm like, that's it. This is the end.
See, I don't get that. I get the one where I've killed somebody, and they're after years, they're on to me. Like the cops are starting to come to the door and go, we found something. And then I'm like, and I start thinking, I'm going to fucking be in prison for my whole life because I did do this. I'm like, I did it. And then you wake up and go, good.
I dreamt that I was driving a bus, and I drove a bus into a crowded intersection and plowed down about 40 people and killed them.
Fantastic.
And then everybody was at the bus windows, banging on the windows, trying to get in at me.
That's actually what I jerk off to.
And then I woke up and thought, oh, thank God.
I dreamt the other day, and this is the truth, and I actually talked about this in therapy.
Yeah.
I dreamt that my mother walked into my room, but the room I live in now, and took a cat litter box full of cat shit and dumped it into the trash in my bathroom. And I said, don't do that. Don't leave that in here. And she belligerently dumped the cat shit into my fucking bathroom garbage can and then walked out.
Wow.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I actually dreamt
Hopefully it means something, not just I don't want mom dumping cat shit.
I actually dreamt the other night. I have a friend who doesn't talk to me anymore. Like, I have a friend who broke up with me.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I wrote him an email saying, I'm not sure what happened, but I miss your friendship. And he never wrote back. He just doesn't talk to me anymore. And I had this dream the other night that I was at his father's funeral. I don't think his father is really dead, but that he's Jewish, and that at Jewish funeral, his father gets put into a giant garlic, a big head of garlic,
clove of garlic, head, whatever.
A giant head of garlic, and that he wanted me to carry this big head of garlic to the funeral.
Means a lot to the Jewish people.
But it wasn't part. He's like, I just need you to carry it to the thing and then stop, and then we'll take it from there. Like, I was just carrying his dead father in a giant garlic as a favor, and he wouldn't even. I'm trying to make small talk with him. He wouldn't even talk to me while I'm doing it. And then at one point he's like, okay, that's far enough. Like, because I'm not Jewish, he wouldn't let me come the rest of the way.
Well, selfish. Maybe he was sad about his father being dead. He's thinking it's about you.
That's
Maybe
right.
He's fucking sad that the man who raised him is now in a garlic head being carried by a fucking redheaded creep.
So maybe he should have
fucking snotty Jew. Who gives a shit?
But wait, now
that's the oddest thing too. When dead people show up in your dreams, and stuff, and you hang out. Like my father occasionally pops into my dreams.
That's real, by the way.
And then you're like,
that's real stuff.
You're like hanging out and talking. It's like, hey, you don't even think twice about it. And then you wake up and go, ew, that was creepy. He's been dead. He's
still alive in your dreams.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, there's actual communication going on.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, if you read a book or two on near-death experience.
How come it's usually hanging out talking and not driving drunk in his pickup truck with me in the passenger seat, scared shitless?
What is he saying to you in the dreams?
Nothing.
They're
it's like
people, Anthony.
It's small
Don't
talk.
hate them that much. They're people.
No, he wouldn't say that.
No, you must.
In anyone's wildest dreams.
He's making sure you carry the torch for the 𝐂𝐊.
Yes.
Do not forget the lessons I taught you when you were 5 years old. Or you just wanted to go outside and play. Well, this guy says, Tom in Philly, I had a dream that the show I listened to 5 hours a day once pretended to drop bra bombs on a TV station. What a nightmare.
Then he woke up and realized, we never did that.
Yeah.
I'll never bring that up.
And then you get Thomas from Dallas. Were you dreaming, Opie, that you were the young Opie and the older Opie was out to kill you for the blimp thing? Linger longer.
Should have.
I don't get why there's an FCC that can make those rules. I don't understand it. It doesn't jibe with what I understand about America and the First Amendment. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, they're just words, right?
What?
They're just words.
Yeah, but you want to let me finish?
Love it, or do you hate it?
No, but he's bothering me so much. When I was a kid, I was bullied, but I was bigger. I was bigger and I was bullied.
You're still bullied, even though you're bigger than
Bullied by littler kids than me. Like
oh no,
this way.
This is a flashback.
And I was bigger. I could beat the out of you.
I'm like, how do you get your series from FX?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't think anybody's done that.
No.
Really. Well, FX took my series off. I don't know why. It's so weird. It was really successful.
Yeah.
And then they just made an arbitrary decision.
That's weird.
To just... I mean, I was baffled. I was like, guys, why? We're like, it's just a feeling we have. I was like, that's weird, guys.
Probably
like
a new CEO. They always do shit like that.
That's the thing. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
There wasn't one, but maybe it's something like that.
I'm thinking of buying a goat. Because I want to have a trash can that I can make love to. So that's why I'm going to buy a goat. So I can have sex with a trash can. I can do that with a trash can I have now, but a goat has a vagina. That makes it a lot better. I don't care that you're upset. I'm still getting the goat.
I remember you weren't of this world to me. You were like I just had never seen anybody that looks like you or
I think I was incredibly average.
You were like a alien who studied human behavior and got close but didn't quite get there.
Like any other, even a musician, even being a musician, and on there, what are you doing? Don't be a musician. That's a stupid thing to do for a living. But if it doesn't work out the way you wanted, you can look at these. You've got these guys here. These guys. Okay. What are you talking about? Because child molesters are very tenacious people. They love molesting childs. It's crazy. It's like their favorite thing. I mean, it's so crazy because when you consider the risk in being a child molester, speaking not of even the damage you're doing, but the risk, there is no worse life available to a human than being a caught child molester. And yet they still do it, which you can only really surmise that it must be really good. I mean, from their point of view, not ours, but from their point of view, it must be amazing for them to risk so much. How do you think I feel? It's my last show, probably. Because...
What is the best advice you can give for like a student and like attitude when you're doing that? Because you kind of say a big F you to a lot of people, and I like that.
Say, you mean
I like attitude when you're
what attitude?
When you're in the production, which you've done it all, and what's the best attitude to really give?
The best attitude in production is really really wanting to help a lot. Really wanting to help whoever's show it is be really great. I mean, I think that's anybody who's doing any job, really.
She'd want that job to be done really well. I mean, this is a simple answer, but it's really true.
Yeah.
There's one person really usually that has an idea of how to do something, and everybody else should really want. I mean, it's such a rare and great gift to get a job in show business. It's very, very. It's not. You're not going to get one. I mean, statistically, you're not.
I just want to say I'm not trying to say that if you're white you can't complain.
Right.
I'm just saying that if you're black you get to complain more.
Right. Right.
Because you can't. There you go.
Don't tell the band that.
Yeah. Because you can't. That's right. You can't take people's like historical context away from them, and everybody wants us to. Like white people are always like, "Come on, it wasn't us." Like they want black people to forget everything. Like every year, white people add 100 years to how long ago slavery was. I've heard educated white people say slavery was 400 years ago. No, it very wasn't. It was 140 years ago. That's two 70-year-old ladies living and dying back to back. That's how recently you could buy a guy.
That's right.
And it's not like slavery ended and then everything has been amazing. Like it just...
Oh, glad that's over.
Oh yeah, it just ended like a clean where you don't have to wipe. Just boom. And then it's just been parades and presents ever since. You gotta remember that if you meet a black person, they have gray hair, they remember a time they weren't allowed to use a certain toilet. So give them a little, time to be cranky. And by the way, white people have our own thing that stuff that we went through that hurt us that we have to cope with. Like when they took our slaves away, that was really hard for us, and we're still. So it's pretty even.
He goes, yeah, I blew 2 guys just to find out that I didn't like it. And I was like, 2? I feel like you'd know after the first. Like, what happened after the first one?
Well, maybe it was just that dick.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe it didn't taste good.
Right. And he's like, I got to try this again.
If you're going to try anything, you should try it twice.
You should.
I do think that.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want to try it.
Okay.
Because that means sucking 2 dicks.
Now take yourself through that logically. I'm a man, I've got 2 little girls. I'm not allowed in the ladies' room. I mean, not me personally, I didn't get banned. I can't go in the ladies' room because I got a big old penis. So I just can't go in. I'm not bragging that it's not big like porny, thrusty penis. It's just big like an old man's nose. Just kind of like, just.
Here's a joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because there was a black guy walking behind him. And he was nervous. He was new to the city, this chicken. And he was like, I feel like he's following me, but I'm not sure. So then he thought, maybe if I cross the road, then if he crossed the road, he's definitely following me. So he crossed the road. And the black guy went home. He's living his life. And the chicken was like, I'm such a racist. And he felt bad. About a month later, a black guy ate the chicken. Different black guy. I'm just telling you what happened. By the way, don't be upset, because this is not a racist joke. This joke is not racist. The chicken was racist. The chicken was definitely racist. But that's chickens. Chickens are very closed down and suspicious and prejudiced. You kind of can't blame them considering that their species murder rate is 100%.
Also, I'm not allowed in the ladies' room because I love looking at people's vaginas anytime that I have that opportunity. It's amazing that we still need separate rooms to pee in as human beings. Men are so disgusting that we can't be trusted to pee in the same room. So I have to take my girls to the men's room, which is awesome. Look, girls, 9 penises.
Sex is weird, though. When you're having sex with somebody, you start to make those noises. Those sexual noises. You ever feel weird about the noises you make during sex? You ever listen to yourself and go like, where the fuck did I pick that one up? What the hell was that? Because sometimes you make the oddest noises. You really get into it, you're like, woo! That'd be fun to make that noise with somebody that you're having sex with for the very first time, After all the tension that built up to it, right at the moment of passion, you go, ah! Just to watch their face going, oh, shit. Fuck, man, another one. This one's weird. I was walking down the street and some guy told me I was wearing a faggy shirt. What the hell does that mean? Total stranger walks up to me on the street and he goes, hey, nice faggy shirt, you faggot! Faggot! I remember the shirt I was wearing. It was pink, and it had a collar, and it had these little pictures of guys blowing each other on it, you know, like sort of a...
Grown-ups ain't worth a meat. Whoops. All right. All right. Oh, shit. God damn it. Idiot. This isn't a gay voice, by the way. It's not. Shut up.
It makes sense that God would be a woman, doesn't it? Because you're raised by your mom. I think the reason we made God a man in our cultures is because we want to make sense of the fact that men are in charge. Because otherwise it doesn't really make any sense, because women, you start with the woman. It's the thing people like to ask, like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Of course it's the egg. Because you can't just make a chicken. You can't just go, chicken. You gotta start with an egg and grow a chicken. And then people say, oh, well, where did the egg come from? From a chicken, you idiot. But the point is, women birthed us, women raised us, so why aren't they running things? I think I know why. I think it's because millions of years ago, women were in charge, and they were mean, they were horrible. They made us walk around naked, and they'd laugh at you, and they'd flick your penis when you walk by. They were awful. But what could you do? It's your mom and her friends. Like, what could you possibly do about it? And then one guy punched his mom, and we were like, we can hit them. But that's why men are mean to women today, because we're terrified of them.
I remember I was in a taxi, I think in New York, and the driver was Muslim, and there was a woman crossing in front of us, and he honked at her because she went after the light had turned, and she gave him the finger. And he said to me, do you know, in my country, if a woman show you this finger, I could get out, beat her to death, and if I drive by here a week later, she'd still just be laying there. Like nobody would even clean it up.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm thinking of buying a goat. Because I want to have a trash can that I can make love to. So that's why I'm going to buy a goat. So I can have sex with a trash can. I can do that with a trash can I have now, but a goat has a vagina. That makes it a lot better. I don't care that you're upset. I'm still getting the goat.
I'm watching TV and Tosh is making me laugh, so I wrote a tweet saying, your show makes me laugh. And then I put it down, and then like 2 days later I come home and I read these like bloggers and like Hollywood Reporter, Louis C.K. defends Daniel Tosh amid rape joke controversy. I had no idea. He got in trouble for making some jokes about rape, and I didn't know about it. And so I'm a defender of rape. That's what everybody says now. And I've read all this stuff like, shame on you, Louis C.K., and I'll never watch your show. You're a rape apologist. I've been called a rape apologist because I said hi to a guy. Because I said, hey, nice show to a guy who everybody was mad at. So
you really got, you know the lesson here. Never go to Vermont.
No, it's dangerous. It's dangerously...
It's a dangerous place.
But here's the thing. This is like a fight between comedians and feminists, which are natural enemies. The biggest, easily... Because, stereotypically speaking, feminists can't take a joke. And stereotypically speaking, and comedians... See? And comedians... Now, I've read some blogs during this whole thing that have made me enlightened to things I didn't know. This woman said how rape is something that polices women's lives, that they have a narrow corridor. They can't go out late, they can't go to certain neighborhoods, they can't dress a certain way, because they might get... Now, that's part of me now that it wasn't before, and I can still enjoy a good rape joke. So I have both of them. But here's the last thing I want to say about it. This is also about men and women, because a lot of people are trading blogs and things about this with each other. Couples are fighting about Daniel Tosh and rape jokes.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I've been reading in blogs. But
They're both making a classic gender mistake because the women are saying, here's how I feel about this. But they're also saying my feelings should be everyone's primary concern. Now, the men are making this mistake. They're saying your feelings don't matter, your feelings are wrong, and your feelings are stupid. If you've ever lived with a woman, you can't step in worse than that, than to tell a woman that her feelings don't matter. So to the men I say, listen to what the women are saying about this. To the women I say, now that we heard you, shut the up for a minute. And let's all get back together and kill the Jews. That's all I have to say about
it. Because child molesters are very tenacious people. They love molesting childs. It's crazy. It's like their favorite thing. I mean, it's so crazy because when you consider the risk in being a child molester, speaking not of even the damage you're doing, but the risk, there is no worse life available to a human than being a caught child molester. And yet they still do it, which you can only really surmise that it must be really good. I mean, from their point of view, not ours, but from their point of view, it must be amazing for them to risk so much. How do you think I feel? It's my last show, probably. Because
I love old ladies. I really do. I connect with old ladies. Because they don't care. They say whatever. The filter comes off around 72. 8-year-old boys and old ladies have the same sense of propriety. Because old ladies are on the way out. They're like a guy who just got fired and he's leaving the office with his box for the last time. You're fat, never liked you. They just say whatever. And old ladies talk to you in the middle of I'm walking through a supermarket, and there's always an old lady like, it's ridiculous. I'm like, I know, don't buy it. Like, I don't know her. I connect with old ladies. They're my favorite demographic of person. I wish that I desired them. Sexually. I really do wish that I could get a boner from an old lady, because I could find an old lady and spend the rest of her life with her?
I was talking about being 40, and now I'm 41, and how when you go to the doctor, they don't try to fix anything anymore. I go to the doctor because my ankle hurt for 3 months, and the doctor just says, yeah, your ankle's worn out. That's all.
Wear and tear.
Just take lots of leave. Yeah, that's what he said. And I'm like, well, what if I was an athlete? And he says, well, you're not an athlete, so no.
So we don't have to worry
keep
about
those options off the table. And so I'm grousing about that and getting some laughs. And so a person in that studio, this was on the radio, on the phone, goes, really? Because I would think at 40 you would still be getting some solutions from the doctor.
The hole.
Yeah, isn't that weird that it was...
The hole.
The chick.
I mean...
They insist
shuts, and all the laughter stops.
Yeah.
That's... I would think that at 40 the doctor would still come up with some options for you there.
Thank you.
Why did
fun?
And so there's a pause, and then I go, yeah, he didn't is what I'm saying. Where I'm going with this is that he didn't. That's the engine of this piece of comedy. That's how it functions, is that it didn't.
Get it, dummy?
What are you helping by correcting the piece of comedy?
You would think.
The whole point of any piece of comedy is that you're inflating and exaggerating to a comedic effect. So it's the easiest thing to cut the legs out from under it. It's the easiest, stupidest, most worthless thing to do.
I hope you gave her this speech.
No, I didn't. I just said, I packed all of that into, he didn't is what I'm saying.
Right.
And I just sat there so mad, and then the rest of the interview, I'm just like, yeah, and just answering questions, yes or no, and I just want to get off the phone.
Well, she doesn't understand because, again, we've said before that when certain holes just leak brains and humor out of them. And that's why when they're on a radio show, they just get up and their seat has funny on it, but the mic has none in it.
No, it's like the fun of the show is a balloon, and she literally put a vagina on the side of the balloon and let the fun out.
They insist on having the women part of these morning shows.
And then there was that was somewhere in Pennsylvania. I don't remember where. And then there was a show in Albany, and it's a show I really like doing. But we're talking about my kids, and I go, yeah, I've got 2 kids, and I'm divorced now, so I have my kids with me by myself all the time because we share custody.
And it's hard. I have to have, like I had to take a dump the other day, and I had to do it. Can I say that? They're not going to.
Oh, yeah.
I had to do it with the door open because I got 2 kids to watch. Nobody else is home. So I can't, unless I'm going to gather them into the bathroom to watch Daddy take a poop. I've got to have the door open while I'm watching the kids.
Right.
And she goes, same person, basically, just keeps moving other cities within the same morning somehow.
Same genitals,
same
different
day.
show.
Yeah, she goes, really? Because your daughter's 7, I would think that she could take care of herself while you're doing that.
Oh, my God, that's not the point,
Oh,
you
my
idiot.
God.
That's not the point.
And I was like, well, yeah. And then I went the other way with that one. I'm like, okay, that's how you want to do your show?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, I guess that's true. I guess she could have. You're right.
Just clotheslined your jokes.
Why would the Jews go into the bar? If they owned it, wouldn't they have been there already going over the books and the deliveries?
Yes.
Yeah, a guy who goes into a bar with a duck on his head, and the bartender says, "What do you want?" or something, and it's always the duck says something. Really, because I didn't think that ducks had the power of speech.
Yes. And why wouldn't the bartender comment on the duck as opposed to just speaking?
Really, because usually when I go to a bar, they don't even talk to me. They just seem real busy.
They're an easier way to keep them from jumping on the bed.
Yeah. Wouldn't a duck fall off?
They are horrendous when it comes to radio.
God.
They're like Andy Rooney with breasts. There's
No, but here's the
way.
thing is that I know many, many funny women, and I don't think it's a female trait.
No.
But no man has or will ever do that.
No.
In the history of my life.
You kind of know what's going on, and
Because only a hole would be that dumb. But as a sex, I don't believe that it's a trait.
On
no, I
radio,
just there's an improv, which is a boring art, but there's art to it, it's called yes and. That's the rule of improv. It means that if somebody posits a idea, you don't say nah, because you've just destroyed the whole show. You say yes and you add something. You accept their premise and you add to it and you keep building that way. You don't just go no. I did improv once, and I just because it made me look good and made them all look bad, I was the no guy, and I shut down every scene that started. They're like, "Oh, sir, isn't this the restaurant where everybody's crazy?" I'm like, "No, it's a fine restaurant. There's nothing going on."
Oh, okay. Could you please tell me where the silly restaurant is?
I never heard of any place like that.
Yes.
Why would anyone go to a place like that? Wouldn't you want to eat something?
Yeah.
And everybody just, but I got huge laughs.
I'll have the steak then.
That's hilarious.
Oh, is that
Really
great?
good.
Screw them.
You just know. And it kills television. And writers' rooms think that they're perfect. They perfect scripts and they ruin TV shows in the process. That's what I think happens.
Do you think I find the dialogue, I was watching a show on Showtime recently, and the dialogue was very snappy, patterish.
Yes.
Seems like nobody talks real on television. There's no organic dialogue and no organic speech patterns. It's all it's all clipped TV talk.
Yeah, it is, and it's arrogant because what it is, it's a lot of I'm not being an asshole here, but there's a lot of collegiate TV writers who don't.
You're right.
Who just want people to sound a certain way and who don't want the audience to weigh in, and they don't want to let moments linger, and but there's a way that unfunny people make funny, that they're like, I'm in a comedy right now. I'm in a comedy right now. That's what I always want people to say in sitcoms. Neil Patrick Harris and that, I'm a smarmy character. Yeah, you better watch what I say, because it's, everything he's saying is dripping with this fake comedy thing. He wins these Emmys for comedy. He's completely unfunny. I don't. That's my opinion of his work. I have no idea. He might be the greatest guy in the world. I don't care. But there's a lot of comedy that's worked. That's just like, we're doing this. Like, I remember on Lucky Louie once, we changed dialogue on the set. Me and Pamela rewrote something that came to the floor, which was certainly my prerogative. It was my show.
Yeah.
And one of the writers took offense that we changed something. And I'm like, what's your problem? And he said, we worked hard on that dialogue. We vetted it. The writing staff vetted the dialogue.
He actually said that?
Yes. And so it was disrespectful for you to throw it away. to me, the idea of vetting, you know what vetting means?
Yeah, but not in the writing sense.
Well, vetting, like if you vet...
By the way, honest, I would have said, what does that mean? But I wanted to just...
Yeah, no,
the audience
because I
knew what I was talking about.
I looked it up after he said this to me. The only time I ever heard vetting was in the political context, when they pick a VP or something, they vet him, and they analyze, find everything out they can about him, and then they scrutinize. So when you vet dialogue, it's the same thing. You look at a page of dialogue and you analyze every line. Is this giving us all the information we need? Is this upping the stakes? Is this giving the character a motive? Yes, and we all approve as a Congress of a writing staff, and we send it to the floor. And this fucking asshole career funny man who gave us all this job had the balls to just put his own feeling into it about what he thought it should sound like. It's just... But that's what a lot of TV writers are like. They think that there's this science to it, it's not even a science. It's just a bullshit craft. And Americans are forced to watch this shit over and over again.
Keith Robinson, who is a comic from the cellar, had a great way of putting it. We were talking about guys that aren't funny, and a lot of them, some writers are funny guys and some aren't. But he was talking about front of the bus and back of the bus guys, and not in a tough guy sense, but in a goofball. If you're in the back of the bus, you're talking shit, you're being an asshole.
Yes.
And so a lot of those writers, they're front of the bus guys. And a lot of, not all, but a lot of the alt comics, and some of them are actually very funny, but the ones that aren't are those people in the front of the bus where they try to find a formula to be funny, but they're not organically funny people. There's nothing funny about a lot of those writers when you talk to them.
It's funny because a lot of alt comics would say the opposite. They would think of themselves as the back of the bus, and they would think of well-formed and well-trained and solid comedians like Keith as the front of the bus guy. That's funny to me. I would put Keith in the back of the bus because he's black.
And now
Keith is, by the way, one of my favorite comics.
Oh, is he a funny fucking dude?
Severely underrated.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, he has a new bit, and it's funny.
And here's why he's underrated, because he's fucking lazy and he won't do certain things.
No, because he won't put himself out there.
But as a guy, too, Keith is sickeningly funny. He's an abusively funny fucking dude. He's like sit on the corner and make people laugh.
No, he's great. He's great. No, and with Lucky Louie, the idea was putting just performers on a stage and getting them to do stuff. That's why the writing, vetting, and perfectioning is part of what made the show have a mixed message. And I mean, in some ways, I don't blame people for not having liked it, because we didn't do it completely the way I wanted to. We did it about 60% of what I wanted, and the rest of it, I trusted other people, and I don't blame them. Those writers did what they were trained to do. And they probably are succeeding at it in other shows. They were all very talented. I had a great writing staff. It just wasn't a writing staff show. I would never write with a staff again.
When you
never do that.
When you write now, because again, you have an interesting way of thinking and doing things. Do you start like, all right, I want my story to be this, and I'm going to finish here, or do you just kind of throw out a bunch of different ideas and say, I'm going to put these together somehow at the end?
Every episode is different in that sense. Some of them I know. Like, I have a flash of an idea, and it's a whole episode. Like I did this episode about religion, and I knew that would be a whole episode. I wanted to tell this entire story of this kid, and that I let be me, just to give it a context that meant anything. Being so scared of Catholicism and being sympathetic to Jesus and wanting to help him instead of just letting him hang there. That to me was such a fascinating story, and then bringing my mom into it and all that stuff. I knew that was going to be a whole episode, and I knew it by the time I almost thought the whole episode out in one thought, and then I just sat down and wrote it. There are other things where I do one bit that's just a shred, like I want to see this happen, and then other shreds come together and it ends up making a whole show. It depends. Other things start with one moment, like the bully episode that I did where this high school bully picks on me, and that episode, sometimes this happens. That story told itself to me instead of me telling the story. Sometimes you know what I mean, when you follow your imagination down a road and you don't even think you're in control of it.
Yeah.
I had the one moment in my head, which is I'm on a date and I get picked on by a kid, and I realize I can't. This is real life. I can't fight him. I'm over 40. I'm not going to fight him, and I'll say whatever it takes to get him away from me. That's the safe road. Why wouldn't I do? I'm not in a mood. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
But there's a girl with me, and I was trying to have sex with her. So I just told myself that moment. I said, so what happens? And then first step was her complete humiliation of me and saying, you just turned me off completely. And then I thought, but what would I do? Would I follow the kid home and beat the shit out of him? Would I get revenge on the kid? And then I just told myself, I want to follow him all the way home. I want to follow him. I want the audience to be like, what's he doing? This is crazy. And I didn't know where it was going. And the story just took me to, there's his house. I walk up, who would I meet? Well, he's a kid. I'd meet his parents. What would I say to them? I'd tell on them. That's what adults do when other kids have a problem with somebody's kids. What would they do? Beat the shit out of them. How would I react? I'd say, hey, cut it out. You shouldn't hit kids. That's why he's like this. And I was telling this story to Pamela, who is a consultant producer on my show. Pamela Adlon that played, I'm just saying it for them.
Sure.
Played Kim on Lucky Louie, my wife. I was telling her this story. I was hatching it in front of her. And I said, so I'm yelling at the father and saying, you shouldn't hit your kid, and that's why he's like this. And then she says, and then the wife, the mom goes, get out of here, you fucking queer. Like she did this funny voice, and she said, then the mother starts slapping you. And I fucking howled laughing. She finished that for me. And so we went out and cast a woman with that voice, and we did the whole thing. It was great. So sometimes it's like that. It's all of a piece, and it starts with one little, I want to see this moment. And rather than set up like, have a phone call, I call the girl up, I start a date, I go, who are these kids? Why are they like this? Here's the moment. Sometimes it looks totally different than other episodes. Like, I like the show to feel different almost visually every episode. The music's different depending on what we feel like showing.
What do you do when you have a thought that you want to articulate? Like, there's been things I'm writing that I can't, like, I know what I want it to be, but I fucking sit down, I just can't articulate a certain piece.
That's really hard.
It's frustrating.
Yes, I have 1,000 great ideas that I've gotten flush in the face with excitement. This is going to be so good. And I write down the note, write this idea. And then when I sit down, okay, I'm going to write. And I start interior bedroom day, and it won't come out of me. Like, I can't make it happen.
What do you just go back to it? Like, I'll write something down.
Sometimes
go back to it.
I keep it on a card, and I go, I know there's something valuable there, and I couldn't sit down and write it. Once I started making the scene, there's a few ways I've approached that moment. Some of them, you get this sick feeling in your stomach, like, I can't write this. Or you start writing and it sounds fake, and you stop. I can't do something I don't enjoy. That's why I can only do a show like this. If I was working on a show where I'm kind of like rolling my eyes and plowing through it, I would kill myself. And that's not a good thing. I think a responsible human being does things, grits their teeth and does stuff.
Right.
But if I'm writing a bit that's not inspired and that I'm not driven to write, that's not flowing out of me, I just stare at the page for a while. Sometimes I'll start writing bad dialogue and then let it catch up to itself and get better.
Right.
Sometimes just having it written out, I'm like, good, I have it. It's not good, but it exists. And I could go back and fix it.
Because it's easier to go back and edit something or fix something than it is to actually just conceptualize something. Like,
I don't know
that
that's true. I don't know that that's true. Really? I think sometimes when you write stuff, it has a tendency to gel, to harden, so that you can't fix it again.
See, I like to edit because I have an emotion when I write anything. It's like it has to just kind of come out there, and then I can go back and fix it. But it's hard to recapture the emotion or the excitement sometimes.
It is. That's a huge part of what we do. And a lot of times, like with stand-up, if a bit killed, most bits that really kill because of the feeling you put behind them, because of the way you're being, because you're animated by the thought, not by the perfect. I had a gym membership downtown at a place called the Printing House Gym, and it was fun.
How'd that work out for you?
It's a nice, quiet gym, like nobody ever went there.
Should go to David Barton's.
So one day they said it's going to be equinox. That we're turning into an equinox in 2 months. And I said, what do I have to do if I don't, because I was moving. I said, do I have to do anything because I don't want to be an equinox? And they said, no, just don't sign up. You have to sign up. It's double the fees, all this stuff, but you have to sign up if you want to keep coming. You have to rejoin. So I said, fuck it. And I left. And then a year later, I look at my credit card statement for the first time in a year. And I've been paying Equinox, who I never signed anything. I've never been a member of Equinox. I've been paying Equinox a membership fee that was double my fucking other gym fee for a year.
And I talk to my accountant, and he goes, they do this all the time, and it'll cost, it's $1,000. The $1,200 they owed me. But go try to get it, it'll cost you more. And they know that, right?
Yes.
So then there's an Equinox near my new apartment. So I thought, you know what? I call Equinox and I go, listen, you stole a great person, I'll fucking sue you. Or give me a year free at Equinox gyms. And then I'll keep going after that. And then you have me as a customer, you earned your $1,200. Otherwise, I'm going to take it out of your ass at my own cost. So they say, we'll give you 2 months free. I'm like, that's what you get to sign up for a fucking gym anyway. So I fought them, and finally I relented. They said 3 months free, and I said, okay, I'll do it. So I sign up, and then I go to the gym that's near me, and they go, well, you can't go to this one. You can only go to the one downtown. What? So then I remember saying to some young woman at the gym, I said, you need to know that I'm really controlling myself, but I want to be screaming right now. So go get me somebody that I can get mad at. I was saying to her, I'm like, do you hear my voice shaking right now? I've been so fucked with, and I'm so mad.
That seems like a psychopath, by the way. Yeah.
So
That's
she's
worse
like,
than the yelling
okay,
guy.
son, I will go get the manager. So the manager comes, and he goes, no, you can't go to any other Equinoxes. So I finally, somehow I get to a CEO of the company after like 2 months.
Yeah.
And I get a call from a woman saying, I'm customer relations. I get this message. You're going to be very happy with what I'm going to tell you. So I call her up, and she says, we'll give you 6 months free. And I said, I'm not doing it. And she says, well, then I'm authorized to give you back your $1,200. And I said, wait a minute. Here's your choices. Keep the $1,200. Let me go free for a year, and then I'll be a customer for like maybe 10 years. Or you're just going to give me back the $1,200? Like, do you see how you're losing? Does that make any sense to you? She goes, that's all I'm willing to do.
You stupid.
Wow.
What fucking gave me back the money. Just dumb.
That is dumb.
Dumb.
How do you not attack them on Twitter? I mean, that's over.
That's what I was threatening to, but I don't.
I love doing that.
I feel as weird. That's scary to me.
But you know what? You're voicing what a lot of people can't voice. That because everyone, if they're fucking with a guy on your level, this shit company doing this, they fuck with everybody, and they're used to no consequences. They're used to nobody being able to talk to 2 million people and go, these people suck. But man, when their phones start ringing, then they go, oh, there's a consequence for shitting on people individually. It's a really
that's why I get angry. Like, I could fix my XM Serious problem by talking to somebody here. They gave me one of these things today. I'm not even gonna fucking use it. I got nothing to do with it. It's a year free subscription I just ripped into pieces.
Because it's in an envelope, and you still have to do something.
I shouldn't have
this
that,
number,
but I shouldn't need that in order to get good service.
They should just say,
as a human being in America, I should have better service than that.
They should have just said, what's your ID number, and we'll take care of everything. Not give you an envelope with more instructions.
No.
Why can't you go to different Equinoxes? That's going to annoy me all day.
No, I will have nothing to do with them anymore.
That's fucking enraging. What a dumb company.
Because they probably have something where you pay $20 extra a month, then you could go to more.
But I had been fucking stolen from, which they acknowledged because they gave the money back.
Right.
Which means they acknowledged that was ill-gotten goods.
What fucking pricks?
But this is how.
And I was offering them a solution that, like, go ahead and you stole the money, but why not?
But that to me is a better way than I would ever handle it. Like, just to actually just to have the wherewithal to go, you know what, fuck it, I will take 3 months. Let me just work out. Like, that's the most reasonable thing I can think of. You just wanted to go to different gyms, and these cocks, they won't bend. They won't bend.
Yeah.
Fuck
well, you learn
that
kind of shit from directing and stuff, because you have problems you have to resolve, and sometimes people fuck you, and you have one choice. You could get all your anger out and be stuck with the problem.
Yeah.
Or you calmly say to somebody, this is totally counter to what I'm renovating this house, and this guy did something completely wrong. So I tell him none of this is what I wanted. And I hear him get confrontational. It's what you asked for.
Hey.
I'm certain that's not what I asked for.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted. Well, I'm not, I don't do that. And I said, let's just tell me how it gets fixed. Forget who pays for it. Just tell me what you would do now as a solution.
Right. Yeah.
To fix it. Well, I'd have to change this and that and this and that. Okay, what else? And then he tells me the whole thing, and I go, that sounds good. Let's talk later about who's going to pay for it. We don't have to talk about that now. Let's make that happen. You and me will have a talk about what should happen. And then he got off the phone, and he had a couple of days, and he called me and said, I'll share the cost of the replacement. You know what I mean?
Wow, look at
when
you.
you're in a confrontation with somebody, you tell them your side of it, and then don't try to fix it right then. You just say, let's go off, you and me. And
where were you when I was
a
destroying
shrink.
every relationship I've ever been in? That's fucking amazing. But that's fucking why you get things done. It's this fucking great way of just handling a problem and not
So
getting
hard
even
to do.
I was going to talk about Boston, and here's the thing. They have this whole gay marriage thing in Massachusetts, and they're fighting it in the courts, and I don't understand the argument against it legally. Like, I know what their problem is, but how do they argue it in court? You know, like, I can imagine the old, when they get to the Supreme Court and the lawyers for the gay side are like, well, Your Honor, we pay taxes. There's nothing illegal about what we do. We're the same as anyone else. Why shouldn't we get the same protection under the law that heterosexuals get? And then they ask the other lawyer, and he says, Your Honor, they're fucking queer! They're fucking queer! That's it, isn't it? Isn't that the whole... Well, okay, counselor, but I don't see what that has to... What, are you fucking faggot? Your Honor, you're gonna get a fucking beating. Faggot! Isn't that the whole argument? Or that argument that the soccer moms, how am I going to explain that to my kid? I don't like explaining things to my kid. I don't like talking to him. So you should stop your whole lifestyle. So that I don't have to talk to my kid, you should stop being in love with each other, because, how am I going to, you know what, fuck you, stop it. It's just weird. But, fuck, what was I going to say about that? Oh, yeah, like, I don't know. I never understood anger towards gay people because it doesn't affect it's actually the one thing that people can do, sex, that doesn't affect you at all. Nobody's being gay at you. Like you walk in a room full of gay people and, oh, Jesus! Oh, gay! I mean, where do you come in? That you got a good... Like, I can understand if you're mowing your lawn and two guys are blowing each other on their grass, like in the middle of your lawn, you're like, come on, you faggots! I gotta cut around you every morning, it's bullshit! Fucking lawn is all uneven. Or if you're eating your breakfast and you're about to put your spoon in the cereal bowl and two guys touch dicks in front of your... Hey, come on! I gotta go to work! I don't have time to dodge your dicks with my spoon. Outrageous behavior. Jesus didn't die on a cross so you could touch your dicks together in front of my cereal spoon. I'm sure that's not why. I mean, I wasn't there, but I assume that's not why. Couldn't possibly have been on his list. Anyway. Is that even a gay act, the touching of the two penises? I think that's what I pictured when I was a kid. That's what sex is between guys. Is just, it's very formal, just. Thank you. Well done. Well played. Right on target. I don't think that's even gay. That's just friendly. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Let's see it. How you doing? Tip of your dick feels nice against the tip of my dick. I know, right?
I have a solution for the pandemic, by the way, for COVID. I have it. This is it. We test everybody, first of all. Every time we find somebody who has COVID, you kill them. That's it. That's the solution. You won't need another one after that one. That's the final one. It's been pretty amazing to be alive during this thing, during COVID, because you're not going to see this again. And wow, did we learn some shit. That's really the things that teach you in life are things you never would have chosen to do for yourself. I mean, think about your life as far as it's been where you had the choices, where you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to pursue this. It all goes to shit, every bit of it. And even when it goes right, you're like, why don't I like it? It's what I wanted, but why don't I like it? Because it's your choice, and your choices are based on fear and fucking just thin, stupid, shitty hopes. But when life just kicks you in the balls and you're like, oh, fuck, everything's different now. And it shows you shit you wouldn't have looked at otherwise. That's the great joy in it. And what I thought was really interesting about COVID, and still is that it's the first thing I've seen where everyone on Earth had the same problem. Every human being on Earth had the same problem. We never had that before. That's why we don't give a shit about each other. Because you read like, oh, there's floods in Houston. You're like, fucking water. What is it? What's your problem? Floods. What is that? Just walk like this. What, you can't handle some water? My basement floods. What the fuck? Who gives a shit? Like, he's on a canoe in the street. That looks like fun. Why is that an issue? There's fires in California. Blow it out. You fucking blow out a fire? Get the water from Houston and dump it on California. Fucking deal with it. But we all had the same problem. Every person from Zimbabwe to Tokyo to Newark to Honolulu, everybody was doing the same dumb shit. Every person had the same stupid fucking moment at the same, just trying to get the mask out of the well of your car door. Trying to, I gotta go in Walgreens. Where's my fucking mask? You're trying to, it's got pistachio shells in it and pennies. I'm sure it's still effective. I actually like the masks because it just, everybody looked nice. Everybody did. Because it's just their eyes. Eyes are nice. You never hear somebody say, that guy's got gross eyes. It's really, we should hide these. We should keep the masks because this is disgusting. How do we just, with no shame, look inside my face? Spit and a tongue and teeth? It's fucking gross. Cover your mouth. Don't. I'd rather look at your asshole than your mouth. I really would. I'd rather stare into your asshole than glance at your mouth. Assholes aren't that bad, not to look at. We don't like to think about assholes because, like, they're, you know, the shit and the farts and the diarrhea. But that's a small portion of their time. You ever really look at an asshole? You ever really look? Once you see it, like, in nature, it's just, it's a little, that's all. That's your asshole. It's like, you know what it is? It's just an aperture. That's all it is. That's your asshole. It's like a camera shutter. That's all it is.
all you can do with your kids. Just do your best. Nobody fucking knows right from wrong. When I was a kid,
they just taught us things to try to keep us just shut the fuck up. Our morals were just shut the fuck up. Things like slow and steady wins the race. They taught us that. Slow and steady wins the race. Really, does it win the race? You know what beats slow and steady? Fast and steady. Kicks the shit out of slow and steady. Slow and steady beats old and retarded. That's about it. Stop telling that to kids. A lot of what they teach kids is just to make them polite people, you know? Like they teach them that there's words you shouldn't use. There's bad words. Don't use the bad words. I can't teach my kids that because I do this for a living. But I didn't want my kids to be, you know, assholes. So I used to tell them, like, okay, look, there's no bad words. There's no bad words. All words are good, bad, nothing. But there's some people that get upset when you use certain words. So if you're going to use those words, look at the person first and try to guess if they're that kind of person. Sometimes you can offend somebody when you weren't even trying to. Like there's certain phrases, certain statements that if you're going to say them, you should say them without stopping in the middle. Certain things, if you're going to say them, don't clear your throat in the middle. Okay? You don't want to say things like, there are too many black people suffering from discrimination. We need to stop the Jews from feeling excluded. I once fucked a baby, and then I fucked him again. So you want to get through that one. Otherwise, people get the wrong idea. They'll think you only fucked that baby once. I was thinking the other day, what if there was a baby who was born, and there's been a lot of fucked up babies. There's all kinds of babies born. There's been babies with, you know, connected at the face to a dog or whatever. There's been babies with 3 legs, with hands on them. There's been Chinese babies. That's the worst thing I ever said. I think I just finally said the worst thing I have ever said. That was totally unredeeming and horrible. And it feels good. It feels good to have found the bottom. It's a comfort in knowing that I just said the worst thing I'll ever say in the rest of my life. It's good. All right. Yeah, I'm not a good guy. I am not. I wish I was a good guy. I like the idea of being a good guy. Sometimes I have an opportunity to be a good guy, but then I don't necessarily do it.
Yeah, having a lacy rope scraping your anus. Looks so painful.
Girls are allowed to do, or like they could do shit that guys just could not fucking deal with.
And they never get mud spots.
Yeah. Well, maybe
no mud.
Maybe they do.
Well,
I don't know. I don't inspect it.
If they push a half a log out through a thong, it splits like a fucking
like a
velociraptor's foot. It looks like a flea stack foot. A log when it shits through a tight thong.
Do you think it would curl at the ends too, like an exploded cigar?
Yeah,
like my daughter's Play-Doh machine. Like
the Play-Doh Fun Factory.
That's what women should wear, underwear that have there's like a star at their asshole, so they shit through it and make like a shit star.
And then they can run in and go, honey, look what I made, and just be the dumb dodos they are.
I made hair for my doll. Like it has like a bunch of little holes.
Spaghetti.
Yeah. A few days ago, I was leaving a restaurant with my youngest daughter, and I was holding her hand, and I was texting with this hand. Yeah, I'm that guy.
A woman walked by and she gave me a dirty look like, you should pay more attention to your kid. Okay, guilty. But I have something to say to that woman. This is why I'm able to spend time with my kids when I should be at work. It was noon on a Thursday, okay? I had a crazy amount of work to do. But my kid graduated from preschool that day, and I wanted to take her to lunch. It was a great lunch. We sat at the same side of the table the way she likes. We shared a chicken cutlet. I ate some of her chicken cutlet. We looked at her drawings. She told me many stories about the chinchilla in the classroom. And so now I'm texting and you walk by, bad father. What do you know? Okay, I'm being defensive. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been texting. You know, when my kids were younger, I used to avoid them. I used to sit on the toilet till my legs fell asleep. You want to know why your father spends so long on the toilet? Because he's not sure he wants to be a father. I felt like being a dad was taking away everything I wanted to be. And I was right. But so what? What's so great about our lives? What the hell is an adult without kids? What's the point? So I got off the toilet. I flushed down my personal dreams. And I decided, I'm going to be a dad. I'm not going to be mom's assistant. That's depressing. Don't do that if you're a dad. Just wait for her to write you a list, walk around the store staring at it, and call her from the cereal aisle to make sure she got the right thing. Be a man. Make your own list. Fathers have skills that they never use at home. You run a landscaping business and you can't dress and feed a 4-year-old. Take it on. Spend time with your kids and have your own ideas about what they need. Give into it. It won't take away your manhood. It'll give it to you. I did that. I spent more time with my kids. I took it on. Found out that I'm a pretty bad father. I make a lot of mistakes. I don't know what I'm doing. But my kids love me. Go figure.
Get angry. They don't. Everybody hates gay people. I never understood anger towards gay people because a person being gay doesn't affect your life. So it's weird to me that people just like, they're in their homes going, oh, people are gay. Damn it. What do you care? I can understand hating gay people if, say, like you're mowing your lawn and two guys are blowing each other right on the grass. And you're like, oh, I gotta cut around you faggots every Sunday. I'm sick of this shit. Or say you're eating your breakfast in the morning and you're about to put your spoon in the cereal bowl and two guys touch dicks right in front of you. Hey, come on! I gotta get to work. I don't have time to dodge your dicks with my spoon.